Gerardo Kenyon is a member of the City African American Network. He's been with the city for 5 years as a finance staff person in the Office of Management and Finance. He spent 8 years in the U.S. Army with the 82nd Airborne Division. He has multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He wants people to know, as a vet, everyday life sometimes has a difficult task for issues ranging from PTSD to injuries sustained within the time of service.
Okay, my check, okay. How everybody doing today? My name is Gerardo Kenyon, originally from Nassau, Bahamas. That's where I was born. From then I moved to Miami. I was like 1 or 2, and it's been 10 years in Miami. And I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, so I'm a Georgia boy, I kind of claim it. I'm a big fan of boiled peanuts. You should enjoy it. Let's see, I played sports in high school. I was a track and football star. Thought I'd get a couple of scholarships, but they kind of failed out. So I was supposed to go to the University of Florida to run track, but they got in trouble with some sanctions with the NCAA, and so I didn't go run track for them. Ended up doing 2 years at community college in Atlanta. I just didn't have enough money to go to school. As most kids in the inner city, money is kind of an issue. So I ended up joining the military because I wanted to get out of Atlanta, try to do something different, see if I could actually do it really. So I went there. You go to MEPS, you meet your recruiter, they take you to MEPS, that's where you figure out what your job's going to be. I ended up going to getting a job as combat engineer, and then ended up getting a airborne slot. So I said, well, what is that? So you jump out of airplanes for a living. I was like, okay, that sounds awesome, let's do that. So I ended up signing for that. Not a really good choice. My body definitely feels it now. Ended up going to Fort Leonard, Missouri. Spent a harsh winter, summer there. It was kind of crazy. Mosquitoes about as big as our bodies. But it was great. Ended up doing that, going to AIT and tell her how you do your job and stuff like that. Ended up taking a bus ride from Missouri back to Georgia, to Fort Benning, Georgia. They go to airborne school, which was great. Kind of scary when you figure out you get ready to jump out of an airplane for a living. That's kind of what you do. See a lot of injuries. People shoot don't open, or people land in trees because of the wind. Kind of land on their face when they're trying to get out of their chute. Happened to one girl I kind of felt bad for. She actually didn't graduate because of that. Ended up going to the 82nd Airborne Division. To my surprise, I was told, don't make any big purchases. We're getting deployed in 3 months. Don't buy a car, a house, nothing like that. So I ended up going to Afghanistan in 03. As a 21-year-old, whole new world. When you're on the plane, go to Germany, it was like, okay, we're going to war, really don't know what that is, it was kind of all new to us. Ended up opening the airplane. Once we got to Afghanistan, it was real. When you open that door, you feel the heat. Yeah, you're at war. Everybody got serious, and it was time to go battle. So in Afghanistan in 03, this was kind of the beginning of the war almost. There was not a lot of things there. And so when we went there, it was definitely a lot of sandstorms. Never been used to that, especially being from the South. I didn't know what that was until it hits you, and you can't really see in front of you. There's no stars on the side of the country, so it's pitch black dark at night. So it's really hard to see. So you have to carry a flashlight with you at all times. End up going to Kandahar, doing missions out of there, and end up going to Bagram Airfield, that's up north in Afghanistan. Doing missions out of there. I became part of a QRF force. My job was to protect the president of Kabul. So if he ever got engaged, there was ever an issue, my team would go take care of those guys, as well as other groups like Special Forces, Army Rangers, Marines, anybody who went down. It was our job to kind of help them get out of the situation. So that was crazy. Plus my helicopter was crashed 9 times while doing those kind of missions. Oh yeah, 9 times. One time the engine actually stopped propelling in midair. And so as we're falling down, we're like everybody bucking the chin strap. It's like, okay, this is how we go. So everybody kind of holds on to one another. And all of a sudden, as your inertia, I guess, as the helicopter almost crashed, the wind kind of helps the propellers propel again. And we're going to continue our mission. I'm like, okay, guys, there's false alarm. So everybody kind of relaxed again. It's kind of, that's all we guys, kind of how we are. We're a little off. So there, I spent 13 months in Afghanistan, and that was my first deployment. I ended up going to Iraq a couple times. So my last year in Iraq was in Ramadi. I was like, west of Baghdad. So like Fallujah, everybody knows about Fallujah, but Ramadi was the next city over, which was pretty bad. When we got there, the country was that dark. There was no lights on at night. And if our patrols would come through, people flash their light, they didn't even know they were coming. And we have on all the lights. You can pretty much see us from miles and miles away. It's like, pretty much, please shoot at me. We kind of want bullets to kind of ricochet off the vehicle so we can feel alive in some instances. There's a ton of missions out of there. There was a good book called Extreme Ownership, written by a Navy SEAL who was deployed the same time he was. I know this is Navy SEAL as well. And it's a pretty good depiction of exactly what was going on in Ramadi at the time. It was a pretty bad area, pushing out Al-Qaeda, Taliban, whoever it was. And it was a lot of ambushes. We got ambushed a lot there. In some instances, in some farms, some former operating bases, you see bullets flying over your head as a daily occurrence. Like it was nothing new to see bullets fly over your head, or RPG, or grenade lob from rooftops. That was kind of the norm. It got to the point to where you could hear certain sounds like AK-47, M4, a 240 Bravo, mortars, and you know exactly what it is, or like vehicle-bound IEDs or an IED. Because of the explosion, because you hear it so commonly, you know exactly what it is. There are some instances to where we got bombed in the base, so a couple of mortars landed. Some were duds, and we were actually walked past it. Oh, look at that dud. Oh, it didn't go off today. And that was a daily norm for us. Especially in Iraq. And from there, I took a 300-pound IED to the face and survived. I was at the bottom of a hole 8 feet wide, 6 feet deep. So an IED is pretty much a roadside bomb. That's pretty major. I should be dead. Honestly, it was pretty big blast. But I had a brain bleed. I was blind for 24 hours. I had internal bleeding. Had to get medevac out. And that's when I knew I was done. I was pretty much done with the military at that point. Because I was down 1,000 times. I think that was my last life, in a sense. Contra, I used them all 50. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, that was it for me. And so after that deployment, we came home, demobilized, and found out, well, this is what happens when you come back from overseas. You come back from pretty much hitting the gas hard, and they say, okay, now you're back, don't kill people, goodbye. That's all we got. There was no, here's counseling, here's chiropractor to go to, none of that. And I found out I had an issue with my spine I didn't know about, and I had to go to a chiropractor to get fixed. The military doesn't have any chiropractors. I'm not sure anybody even knows that. They don't have chiropractors. When you carry 80 pounds of gear, plus a backpack that weighs 120 pounds, it compresses your spine. And the military doesn't do anything for our backs at all. So no issues with the concussion. And I had one. I came all the way back and found I had a brain bleed because I couldn't remember anything. So I would go to school. I finally ended up going to school. I would read something, and I couldn't regurgitate the information because I had a brain bleed in my left hemisphere of my brain that I didn't know about. So I had to go to a CAT scan. I had to get 9 of them because they know the size of it. My size of a dime that I would suffer from overseas. So I had traumatic brain injury. And so then on top of that, going to school and having PTSD is a totally different monster. It pretty much tells you a 180 of your true self. So if you're confident, happy, go-lucky guy, it makes you a whole 180 of that. Pretty much the whole total opposite of you. So I was very second-guessing myself. I wasn't confident. I wasn't happy. I wasn't anything. I was pretty much a sad shell of myself, in a sense. So that took about 2-3 years for me to get out of that. Going to counseling, getting medication. The medication they give you, because I could only sleep 45 minutes a night. I couldn't sleep longer than that. My mind, my body would not allow me to do that. So the medication they give you, it puts you right out. Like you have to sleep 8 hours. You have no dreams. You don't remember anything. You don't do anything. You sleep. You're like a rock. But then if you don't sleep the 8 hours off, you're groggy. You're like your mouth is like, no, it's pretty bad. And that's all they give you. There's the counseling, the VA, they don't do a lot for veterans, and not just being African American, just veterans period. We're suffering as a whole. 22 veterans kill themselves a day. This trauma we go through, I mean, I've seen the whole human body exposed to oxygen. The whole human body. And that's something I have to deal with for the rest of my life. Did anything with that, I would be reliving